Are you ready to orchestrate a successful career in data leadership? As a previous data product leader who has led and built teams with a focus on their career development, I'm going to, in this video, sit down with top data professionals who will share their insights on everything from mastering essential skills to landing leadership roles. And just like a skilled orchestra, a thriving data career requires a conductor, a strong leader who can set the strategic direction. It needs talented musicians with diverse skills who can execute their individual parts with precision. Get ready to learn from the best and discover how to make beautiful music with data. Today, we're going to be tuning in to understand the essential skills needed to compose a thriving career. Our first guest, Ali Saad, will be taking the Conductors podium to shed light on the gap between academic knowledge and real-world application. Get ready to learn about the crucial skills often missing from traditional data science education and discover how to fine-tune your skill set for success. Next, we have Anastasia Kulakova, and she shares her insights on how to master these essential skills through practical experience, even if you don't have access to a full orchestra or production environment. So grab your instrument and get ready to learn by doing. Julie Montel is next, and she offers valuable advice on navigating different career paths within the data field and how to find your perfect harmony within a data team. Then Promit will be sharing secrets for communicating insights in a way that resonates with audiences and inspires action, much like a powerful symphony performance that leaves a lasting impact. Makes me want to sing. Ali, we often hear about a skills gap in data. Can you break down what this really means and how it impacts aspiring data professionals trying to enter the field or move up in their career?
So when it comes to academia and a real market, when you get a new hiring, especially a junior person, you think about data science in full. Data engineers, data analysts, data scientists, machine learning engineers, and you think about the skill set that you need for your team. A skill set, most of the time you have the fundamentals on data, whether it's data visualization, algorithms, machine learning, database management, and so on. All of these fundamentals, you have it. And then, but on the business, you actually have much more complex problems, whether it is the data itself or the business domain itself. And these are elements that are not being taught enough in universities. And when I meet these people or new fresh grades, I always want them to just work a little bit in some use cases. The data set is not as perfect as you used to do in uni. The business itself have so much complexity that you might need to understand which data points you want to pick and think about to achieve something. The third and final element will be the tools. This is not something that runs on your laptop. We use cloud services all the time, and being familiar with different tools or how to use them in your business, that enables me to make a decision much more faster because I can relate to that person. That person doesn't think only about a code running or some data visuals. They can think about data science as a function or what they're going to do in the business. That's a good question. I think being able to lead a project by yourself. So if I'm not hiring you as a full-time person, and if I'm hiring you to lead a project, you want to think about the infrastructure you're going to have, what kinds of system you're going to use, how your project is going to be delivered, how it's going to be used, whether it's going to be used by business people or integrated into an app or any technology. That I would love newcomers to think about it. And finally, the value that thing would bring. It's not about the code, it's not about the technology. Think about the business. That's your point of contact.
And following on from that, Anastasia, for data professionals looking to expand their skill set into this area, where should they start? What practical advice do you have for them?
I think my advice is learn by doing. Sometimes, actually, what frustrated me a lot when I tried to become more tech and engineering savvy while still being a data scientist is that I felt like in the company where I still work, kudos to my colleagues at Jetlegs, a lot of things were, it felt to me that if I start experimenting there, I might break very important things in production. Of course, we have QA environment in place and many other things, but still the pressure was on. And I think what helped me to learn was to create my own learning environment. Let's say, do a pet project and configure my own pipeline. You can do that with GitHub Actions. Sometimes you wouldn't think of hosting your own Kubernetes cluster or your own cloud. It's quite expensive. Takes a bit of effort to configure, but you can use a lot of environments like DigitalOcean, if I remember correctly, and this sort of thing. Or, for example, Heroku, where you can deploy things like the click of a button, but still have the full cycle that is important for MLOps.
That's awesome. And you mentioned hands-on learning is key for MLOps. But what if someone doesn't have access to real-world projects or production environments? How can they gain that practical experience?
I'm not yet an expert on MLOps. I think MLOps is still a new field, and the ops part has been added to all sorts of things, DevOps, DataOps, now MLOps. I've heard recently GenAI Ops, but that I think is more of a area inside MLOps. But I am trying to get in this domain. And as a startup person, I think what works best is trying to do as many things as possible in the whole machine learning model lifecycle. If you're developing a model, build an API around it, attach a dashboard with monitoring to it. Try to think if you were the only one in the company, what would you do? You start with the realization that you know very little, and I think that's the beginning of a great learning journey. For me, what worked well was talking to engineers a bit more, because I myself have an applied mathematics background that narrowed down into data science. My first job, I just came there, opened a Jupyter notebook because I didn't know any other environment that where I can basically bring value and do my science. But later in my career, I started becoming more hands-on because the things I was working on were not bringing value if they were just sitting in Jupyter notebooks. So there came more proper ideas. Next, Fast API came with the need to wrap the model into the API so that it connects to other services. Slowly but steadily, I was picking up from what more engineering people are using. Say for dashboarding, as a business and data person, you would probably turn into more different plotting library or dashboarding tools like Tableau. But for real-time things, you would probably go to Grafana, because that's where the engineers depict metrics more like on the service level requirements. So you start pick that up, tailor it into your use case, and then maybe as you hit the limitation of those, you start exploring basically the solutions that are built specifically for monitoring machine learning models, for deploying machine learning models. So I think that's currently the journey I'm on. And it's been exciting so far. Not for me to tell whether it's going good or bad. That's for my colleagues to cast their vote. But it's definitely exciting to be in.
Now, Julie, moving on to leadership. For those in our audience who aspire to become data leaders, what steps can they take to prepare themselves for leadership roles? What advice would you offer based on your experience?
I think there are a lot of ways to become one. When you go on LinkedIn and you can see people coming from different backgrounds, either they were in the data science team within the companies, or data engineer, and they become data leaders of their own company. I think there are like many ways to become one. I think it's important to understand all the roles within the data team to be able to know which member of the team could bring, to be flexible and I wouldn't have managed to get a data team leader if I decided as a data engineer if I wanted to join a bigger company with like thousands of people with a big data team. Yeah, you have, I think it's two ways to get it. Is either to stay within your company, to get confidence, to get people trust your work, and then becoming more and more to grow within your company, and then to become a leader showing your manager that you can bring more to your team. Or if not, go within a team that doesn't have any data team and try little by little to prove that your work is valuable, and then to be able to advocate for resources, because you have shown that getting a bigger data team will bring more impact to the company. So this is, in my opinion, two ways to get to that.
Now, we all know networking is important, even if we don't like the word, but it can be intimidating. So, Julie, how can data professionals use communities, online and offline, to their advantage for both career growth and for learning?
Yeah, I think it's important there are a lot of communities, data communities, and you will find people with the same profile on you through LinkedIn communities, etc. So if you are interested about this role, and I think that people are really open to describe what they are faced, what are their job experience and this kind of stuff. I like to talk about my job experience if I can help someone, if you can realize that this is a job for them or this is a job for them. Don't hesitate to reach people, LinkedIn or data community. Yeah, to just realize you are fit for this kind of job.
Promit, you're a big advocate for data storytelling. Why is this skill so essential for data scientists, especially when communicating with non-technical stakeholders, for example?
Where I presently work is a very data and algorithm driven company in general, because we are a chemometrics company and the business model actually is based on algorithms developed. So I think a crucial part of the role is to communicate to different stakeholders, see it included, but also communicate to customers. Customers often want to have discussions around the data that they've acquired using devices, and we have to help them make sense of it. Every data scientist working in my team is very capable of drawing data insights and constructing a data storytelling narrative around the data they're working with. This is one of the most important, if not the most important skill.
Data is a rapidly evolving field. How can data professionals keep their skills sharp and ensure they stay ahead of the curve?
No, absolutely. We have a budget and love employees to use it. But of course, it's not specific to where I work. In general, I think employers are increasingly realizing that cultivating data literacy, allowing employees to upskill is the only way forward. In general, what's worked for me is to be part of data science and machine learning, AI, practitioner communities where you can interact with experts, learn from experts, follow the news and views around AI. Some of the buzz actually has important information hiding in there, and keeping an eye out there can never hurt. And this is also what I encourage people who work with me to do, people who I mentor, while also turning to my own mentors to get guidance and support and to make sure that I'm pivoting and moving fast enough to align with the changing times.
As we wrap up today, one last question, Promit. What are some effective ways data professionals can invest in their professional development? What resources or strategies do you recommend for staying relevant in this ever-changing landscape?
So the best way to do that is to foster data literacy, because as you deal with different kinds of data and as time goes on, you're exposed to different kinds of data scenarios. The message is reinforced that you constantly have to think on your toes. While technologies may come and go, the ability to draw insights from data and plan your next logical steps based on these insights is something that doesn't go away. This is one of the most permanent aspects of a data role that is here to stay.
As our expert guests have demonstrated, data science is multifaceted and a dynamic field. Like a skilled orchestra, a successful data team requires a conductor, a strong leader who can set the strategic direction, either for themselves internally or for their group. And it needs diverse skills who can execute their individual parts with precision. And perhaps most importantly, it thrives in the harmonious interplay between team members, allowing the music of data-driven insights to resonate powerfully with stakeholders and drive positive change. So be sure to follow our guests on LinkedIn to stay updated with their incredible insights that they share. They're all really great. And if you're ready to master data leadership and propel your career forward, then don't miss our interview with Miltiades Sarakinos. Click here for that. And so from me, Ross Webb, at Data Team Success, Until next time, bye for now.